Welcome to part 2, everybody.
Hello.
Now, I have to admit there are some really nice boss monsters out nowadays. I mean, look at Bell, for example, who is run mainly by Kalo Shade. That's his absolute favourite monster and his boss monster of his deck.
I completely forgot the U-Bells for a moment there.
Oh no, it's okay. I think when we mention classic boss monsters, I think we mean from the old Yu-Gi-Oh back then. You know, the classic where it was my monster has higher attack points, I'm gonna run over your monster. I have blue eyes on the field, you cannot win. Yeah, but nowadays it's like my special effect beats your special effect. You're dead. And it's kind of unfair because they are trying to release cards to help the classic, vanilla monsters in general, which most of them tend to be classic boss monsters. And they are trying to release general support, but in the words of Dragon Duelist Girl, Konami seemed too afraid to actually release really good cards that could actually become broken in combination with things like dragons, spellcasters and stuff like that. Because if you look at the new Dragon Structure deck, they're mainly reprints. There's nothing really new or broken about the deck. So, I mean, well, what do you think of the Dragon Structure deck? I know it's a bit off topic at the moment, but...
It looks good at the moment. It should help out several Dragon players with certain strategies. Fingers crossed that Totem Dragon will be in there. God knows that needs a reprint.
You got that right.
But all I can say, another thing I can say about it is I am not looking forward to Dark Flare Dragon.
Oh.
That card is going to be a pain in the backside.
And that's Richie being polite about it.
It'll be an amazing card, don't get me wrong, but sending a dragon from the hand and the graveyard to banish a card in the grave, that's a bit too good and annoying.
Oh, I'm sure somebody will find a way to get it done faster. Somebody always does.
But yeah, this new dragon structure deck should be good, and should.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is,
Blue Eyes and Red Eyes.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. It gives access to the classic monsters, and yet also keeps the update with all the new boss monsters, which is a nice touch if you ask me. But I don't know. I mean, I know we've got the new anime Zeke Cell and the new cards from the Zeke Cell anime out now. You know, Photon Shockwave and Generation Force and everything. But it's like as Chris Anime Guy was saying the other day, it's like they make all these new archetypes, give them a boss monster, and then forget about them. Because if you look, if you want me to be honest, I think Red Eyes the Red Eyes cards and the Dark Mage cards in general have much better support than the Blue Eyes. Because you've got much more variety and much more better general support, whereas for us we've got Blue Eyes White, Blue Eyes Ultimate, Blue Eyes Shining, that's 3. White Stone of Legend, Burst Stream Destruction, Kaiba Man, and Sin Blue Eyes. That's pretty much it. I mean, if I've missed a card out, please tell me in the comments below for Blue Eyes, but that's pretty much it for the Blue Eyes archetype. Oh, and Paladin of White Dragon. Nearly forgot about that. So that's what, 7 cards in comparison to Dark Magician Girl, Magician's Valkyria, Skilled Dark Magician, Dark Magic Attack, Dark Magic Curtain, Dark Magic Ritual, Magician of Black Chaos, Magician of Dark Chaos. Yeah, I could go on with the lists and everything, but you get the picture.
That is true, although from the looks of it, I think Blue Eyes and Red Eyes decks are slightly simpler to use than Dark Magician decks.
I think in that way, I think it's because though dragons have one of the widest variety of supports available in comparison to spellcasters, but I think the Dark Magician and Red Eyes archetypes have got the biggest expansion in comparison to Blue Eyes.
Well, yeah, it's true that those cards have quite a bit of potential.
But the thing is, the thing is, I've actually lost my train of thought. That's the first time. Celine, you're distracting me. Stop it.
On the mention of Zeal, I've just remembered another cool boss monster which is interesting.
Yeah?
Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. That could be an interesting boss monster to play in certain decks.
Speaking of, I haven't actually done this video yet. Or this video will probably be up before, but I pulled this today.
Oh wow!
I pulled the ultimate Galaxy Eyes. Speaking of which, and I'm keeping it before anybody starts.
I mean, attack game from Banished Seas is a bit situational, but Galaxy Eyes is still a good, interesting card.
Yeah. Actually, I just remembered another really good boss monster. Rainbow Dragon.
Ah, yes.
It's actually kind of funny because I was reading on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikia earlier today that dragons have entered a certain pattern in today's formats, and that they are the big boss for a lot of archetypes nowadays. For example, with crystals you got Rainbow Dragon, with Judgment, with Light Sworns you have the Judgment Dragon, for scraps it's Atomic Dragon, and Atomic Scrap Dragon. What else? For the Karakuris, or is it Quacaimero, it's Maximus.
Yeah.
For plant decks it's Black Rose Dragon. I thought that was quite an interesting little fact in that thing, in that article I was reading. It was like, yeah, that is true actually. You know, there's archetypes, and then at the top there's a big boss dragon that wants to kick your backside.
Going back to Rainbow Dragon, it's kind of saddening when there's Crystal Beast players that don't use it and prefer to use bad Queen of Tragic Endings or Hamon.
Or Abundance.
They're good for the archetype, don't get me wrong, but I would choose Rainbow Dragon any day. Stuff the other two.
Yeah, I would. Well, as you know, my Rainbow Era deck is a tribute deck to Jesse Anderson, and that's why I run Rainbow Dragon in there, and Rainbow Dark Dragon as well, because that was the classic boss monsters. I mean, Rainbow Dragon can only ever be used in a Crystal Beast deck. Well, except with the exception of Richie's Legendary Hero deck when he built a Rainbow Neos and everything.
Yeah, I've played Rainbow Dragon in my Rainbow Neos and Legendary Hero decks mostly, and now I'm taking it in the Dark Magician Hero deck. Just so everyone knows.
Yeah, because it's, you know, it's like the, what was it? It was actually Kisame Unlimited actually said, you know, he liked Light Sworns and Crystals, especially because they build up to a big dragon that can just totally run over the whole field, which I thought was actually quite funny and true. And you know, it's that sort of thing. That's what boss monsters do in general. They build up and then bam, when they hit the field, it's like, whoa, what are you gonna do to get out of this one? But it's like, it's kind of funny because with classic boss monsters such as Dark Magician and Red Eyes and even Blue Eyes, people are still kind of scared of them in a way because, well, Blue Eyes is mainly feared because it's still one of the highest attack monsters in the game, or normal monsters in the game. And Dark Magician and Red Eyes have so much potential and so many combos to them that, you know, I think that's what people are scared of when they do face against these kind of decks.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the odd occasion where whenever I've led up to summoning Dark Magician or using the effect of Elemental Hero Prisma to treat it as Dark Magician, they think and predict, oh, he's going to play Thousand Knives, he's going to play Dark Magic Attack, and I'm like, oh yeah.
I've had some people ask me if I run a Burst Stream of Destruction. I used to, but not anymore, unfortunately. Because it is a good card, but it's situational if you do not have a Blue Eyes out in the field, unfortunately.
I think depending on how Blue Eyes build it is, I think at least one is still worthwhile.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about putting a Burst Stream back in the deck today because I was deck editing earlier, but I've decided against it. Speaking of which, I will be doing another deck video soon. Keep an eye out for that, because I have changed the deck a little bit ever since I ran into a slight problem I found out with on Bloody Dueling Network, and I'm not going to mention it. I don't want to rant about it, that's why. Well, anyway, have you got anything else to say on this at all, Darkratician? Because I honestly can't think of anything else to speak about at the moment.
I can't really think of anything, but what I will say is, whatever boss monster you play is up to you, but don't be afraid to try out the classics.
That's scary, you read my mind. I was going to say that at the end of the video.
Just goes to show great minds think alike.
Right, there you go.
But yeah, don't be afraid to try out the classics, because they are Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, and Dark Magician are still pretty good, even by today's standards.
And they're still pretty badass. And they're still pretty badass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so if that's that from you, Richie, as I said, you know, don't be afraid to try out the classics if you get the chance to, whether you do it for fun or competitive reasons. But, you know, when you do see boss monsters and that, don't diss them if they're something you don't play yourself or anything. You know, every card and every boss monster, no matter what archetype it comes from, always has potential. It just takes somebody to find that potential. So, you never know, if you find potential in a card, don't be afraid to exploit it and use it and show the world it. So from me and Darkratician84, who both use classical monsters ourselves, do you want to send off with a big bang? Summon Blue Eyes White Dragon?
Try and counter with Dark Magician.
We're signing out. See you guys!